Welcome to another episode of Discover St. Cloud, Florida. I'm Krista McCary, and I'm here with your host,
Janine Corcoran, broker for Corcoran Connect, a real estate company.
And we have a special episode for you today.
Excited.
I think you guys have probably heard us talk about it a lot. My little sister, her daughter, her youngest daughter is getting married.
That's right.
So we're going to go ahead and take a week off for that wedding. But we thought great timing, right?
Perfect time with the rodeo.
It really is. So we thought we would go ahead and air our episode that we did early on in the podcast. It was actually episode 10. Can you believe that?
Oh my gosh.
A long time ago.
So the dates changed.
The dates changed, yes. So the actual dates of the road of the full fair and rodeo.
It starts on the 10th, goes through the 19th, but we like going on Friday the 17th.
Yep.
Those are the big shows.
Yep, that's the big show on the Friday the 17th. And Friday the 17th is also rodeo day, which is what the Osceola County schools are off for. So we hope that you enjoy this flashback to episode 10, and we will see you next week. We are in February 2022, and a lot of questions that we get around this time of year from people that are not necessarily from here. They're transplants.
Are we all?
And they come down here and they find out that their kids don't have off for President's Day. They have off for this thing called Rodeo Day.
Woohoo! It's one of my favorite times of year.
Yep. So I figured what a great time, but to talk about that and tell people, I don't think a lot of people understand the history of Rodeo Day. And I mean, like, what is Rodeo Day?
Well, first of all, this is Osceola County. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, the actual arena is in Kissimmee, but it's borderline St. Cloud. It's very close. And St. Cloud is in, Osceola County. So big deal. So they give the kids off rodeo day every year because the rodeo's in town, and I think the fair starts a week before, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
County
does.
Fair. And then the rodeo starts on the 18th, which is a Friday. That is the night I always go.
Yep.
I love the rodeo. Listen, I used to go to the rodeo before they were even in the arena, and it used to be outside, and you would be, it was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, and it was small.
Right.
Yeah. Do you remember that? You were a kid.
I do remember. It was very dusty and when it was outdoors and it really depended. I mean, sometimes it was hot, especially if it was during the day, which listen, heat and animal droppings aren't exactly the best, pairing. But I do remember that. But then we had a couple of cold times too. I do remember being super bundled up and going out and what comes along with the rodeo. Not only is the rodeo in town, but they have this giant fair. So it's definitely the big attraction for Osceola County for the year.
Absolutely. And the kids get free tickets or something from school. Don't they give out?
They don't do free tickets anymore. You do get discounted or you might get free entry. I don't really remember. I think it's discounted entry on rodeo day at the fair, but listen, they go anyway. They enjoy it. But do you know what the history of rodeo day is? Why it started? Or, because what even is that? If you're not from around here.
It's so hard for people, especially coming from other states. It just sounds so foreign. Seriously, the kids don't have off the students don't have off for President's Day, but they have off for rodeo day. But it's a big thing. It's part of the culture in Osceola County.
Right.
And so the story, if I'm remembering it correctly, help me along.
Yeah. So the stories I've heard it growing up was, from some of the more the longtime locals, right? The people who kind of grew up in Osceola County. I mean, I grew up in Osceola County, but I was much further past, as far as in age, they're older people here. But from what I understand is, when the rodeo would come to town, so many kids would miss school to see the rodeo, right?
To do the 4-H fair.
To do the 4-H fair, show their animals that they raised. There's a big farming community, very agriculturally friendly. And so they would skip school. And so I think at some point, the Osceola County School Board was just if you can't beat them, join them.
Right.
Sorry, Mr. President, we're not going to celebrate President's Day, but we're going to give these kids off for the rodeo. And that's how the rodeo was born. So, or the rodeo day was born for the schools.
Rodeo day was born. No, that's pretty neat stuff.
And did you find out what year it started? Because I felt like it was 50s.
Yeah. So apparently, prior to actually starting, there were a bunch of Silver Spurs riding club and different things like that. But anyway, so rodeo day started in 1953. and the actual rodeo, the midwinter rodeo, which is February, which is what we're in, started in 1951 in the current facility where it is. It's been rebuilt since then in the 2000s, 2003, I believe, but it was at that original place. And so they say it's the 148th Silver Spurs, but I don't think that's one annually, because the rodeo happens other times during the year. This is the big one.
Because that would have been like in the 1800s. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, like, listen, somebody's going to have to call Silver Spurs. We should have done some research. Somebody look it up and let us know. But that's pretty cool. I mean,
whenever
cool.
I have people, it's whenever I have people move here, it's one of the things that if I could pass along that everyone needs to do is to go to the rodeo. I mean, I love Friday nights, the first night of the rodeo opening. It's my favorite time to go. They do square dancing. They've been doing that for a long time, dancing on horseback. I mean, they chase the calves. Like they let at one point, I was gonna say before halftime, now that's football. They let the kids go down into the arena, the young kids, but there's hundreds of them, and they chase these calves that have little ribbons on their tail. It's the cutest thing, but sometimes kids get hurt. So finally I talked to Kristen's daughter Olivia a few years ago, because she would never want to go down, or we'd go down too late and miss it. So finally, the past few years, we got her down there on time to make sure she could run, and I think she was trampled or something. Someone knocked her over, and she wouldn't go back anymore. So I think she went twice, and she said never again.
Yeah.
But I do have a grandson that's 5, but I would just throw him down there because he would probably be the one knocking down everybody. But get him, put his cowboy boots on, and
oh, he would love it. He would eat it up. I think it's the greatest thing. It's really cool to still keep some of those traditions, right? I mean, that's kind of what Osceola County was built on. And so to kind of keep doing that. And we actually have, friends that still, their kids raise, livestock or whatever, and come out and show and bring the animals to market. And so it's really cool for them to get to show that off and that the schools honor that for us too is cool. The kids don't have to miss it. So it's definitely a unique thing. I always love when family from other places posts things about being off for President's Day, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't get off for rodeo day.
And now I don't know. Those of you who don't know, Kristen used to ride. We owned horses at one time, and so love that. But the part I love most is the bull riding. I caught someone's blog when I was online today, and it was saying the 10 common words that you should know in a rodeo, which is quite funny. But anyway, love the bull riding. I used to actually I have a good friend that also every year we would go to the rodeo, but I haven't been going with her. She stopped going for some reason, but we'd always sit right behind the bullpen. Just watch the cowboys get on the bulls and watch the bulls, in their pen. It's pretty cool. It's very suspenseful. Right. And then when I was first dating my husband now, those questions you ask when you're dating, like, what do you do for fun, or what's your one thing? And his was, in January I go to the races. And I said, okay, well, in February I go to the rodeo. And he almost fell over. He's like, huh? I was like, I go to the rodeo. The rodeo's in town. He's like, what? And he's like you wear cowboy boots? I was like, yeah. He's like, you go to the rodeo and you wear cowboy boots. Yeah. Every February. I was like, yeah, I won't miss it. I said, I go to the rodeo. And so that was so now he goes all the time. He thinks it's fun. Yeah. But yeah.
It is. It's a cool experience.
It is. I don't know, but I love that kind of stuff. So.
I know. And listen, and the kids, they do love the fair. The fair's in town all week, and they have different specials for different nights. Like the first day that it opens, it's because it opens the week, leading up to the rodeo. They have specials like where they have discounted tickets, and then they have, carload night where like a certain number of people in a car get in for a certain, $5 or whatever. So there's cool things that they do for the kids, and it's a lot of fun.
I stay away from the fair.
Listen.
Hi, I'm not going to the fair. I'm not bringing the grandkids to the fair. I'll bring us to the rodeo. You can have the fair.
But they have funnel cake and deep fried Oreos and like all the terribly good stuff. It's right about time for your diet to expire for the year. So it's great, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of, the kids really enjoy it. And I think it's really cool that we're still continuing on with the tradition even though
absolutely.
it's,
And believe me, the people that come to the the rodeo, the people that participate in the rodeo, they come from all over. They're national. Like,
Right.
it's a big thing here.
Right.
It's
There's
like,
campers. There's all sorts of stuff. Like, they're not just
It's serious
from
stuff.
St. Cloud. Yep, it is. It is. So it's really cool that, that happens. And so that is coming up. Friday the 18th is when the rodeo when rodeo day is, right? That's when the kids have off of school. But I think the fair, if I'm not mistaken,
Starts the 18th through the 20th. You can get into the actual rodeo for $20 a ticket. I believe the children might be less. And then the fair tickets, adults are $5 to $8, $3 to $5 for the kids in the fair. So it's reasonable.
okay. That's awesome. I was trying to look and see if I could find the dates really quick for when the actual fair is in town, like for what date it starts. I want to say it's the 10th.
February 11th.
11th. Okay, I was close. It was very close. So just want to make sure about that. So anyway, that's a really cool,
So that's
cool
a
thing.
Friday before.
Right.
Yeah, the 11th, and the next Friday is a rodeo at the 18th. Yeah. Yeah. So if you've just moved here to Florida, you've been here a few years and you've never gone to the rodeo, you have to at least go once. Kind of like bungee jumping. You have to do it once, at least. Maybe you'll get hooked and maybe you won't. Maybe you'll say, I did it, check it off my list. But I'm telling you, it is so much fun. And the music, and it's just so alive and just so much fun.
It is.
I don't know
And
what else to tell you.
this is, I don't think we mentioned it, but it's actually out at Osceola Heritage Park. So if you're coming from the St. Cloud area, if you're heading west into the Kissimmee area, it'll be on your right-hand side after the turnpike, kind of down by Gateway High School. They have tons of, signs for parking, et cetera. You'll see it. You can't miss it. They'll be setting up, I'm sure. A couple of days leading up to it.
It's a big event in this county. So go do it. Enjoy it. Don't forget your cowboy boots. A lot of the women and the men, they all wear their cowboy hat. I don't. I think Olivia did one year. But yeah, you definitely have to wear your cowboy boots. I mean, at least I think that's what you should do.
Absolutely. And there's so much like I feel like this is going to turn into a food podcast, but there's really so I must be hungry right now, but they have so much good. There's a lot of local vendors will go out and they'll serve. I know the barbecue places, they'll usually set up a pit out at the fair. So definitely want to go check that out. It's going to be fun. So it starts on Friday the 11th is when the fair starts, and then the 18th is the big rodeo night.
Yeah,
so
go to that Friday night. It's good.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out.
7:30.
Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Discover St. Cloud, Florida. You can find us pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. Check us out on YouTube. Give us a subscribe, a like, thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing. If you have any topics you want to cover, any questions for us, let us know. And we will see you in the next episode.